waiting for one person. Rosie, did you check?
Yes.
When is the
No news yet.
no news yet? Okay. We can start as soon as we are live on YouTube. We are live on YouTube. All right. Can we get all the vendors come in and sit down? All the vendors from outside? Welcome to the first Woman Life Freedom event in Houston. We kindly request that you please silence your cell phones during the program. If you need to attend to an emergency call, please do so discreetly and calmly outside the venue. Thank you for your cooperation.
We can begin with a prayer for America, revealed by Abdullah from the High Writings. O thou kind Lord, this gathering has turned into thee. These hearts are radiant with thy love. These minds and spirits are exhilarated by the message of thy glad tidings. O God, let this American democracy become glorious in spiritual degrees, even as it has aspired to material degrees, and render this just government victorious. Confirm this revered nation to upraise the standard of the oneness of humanity, to promulgate the most great peace, to become thereby most glorious and praiseworthy among all the nations of the world. O God, this American nation is worthy of thy favors and is deserving of thy mercy. Make it precious and near to thee, through thy bounty and bestowal.
Thank you. Today, we are here to shed light on human rights violations against half the world's population, women. We are here to remember those who gave their lives in the path of freedom for women around the world. I have not organized this event with the intent of excluding men or victimizing women. I am simply shedding light on the truth of being a woman. What does it mean to be a woman? Let me tell you, because I am one. Being a woman often feels like a punishment. Sitting across men at a work meeting, enduring the discomfort from a tight skirt and high heels, as he looks down on you because you are working in a male-dominated industry, and for generations, people with your gender answered calls, typed up letters, and cooked meals for men. And they said, yes, sir. The only compliment men ever gave a woman was how pretty her dress, hair, and body was, and the fact that she is not too much and just the right amount because she agrees and doesn't talk back. That's the definition of a good woman. When a woman demonstrates the same type of attributes that a man does, 9 out of 10 times she is called aggressive, wild, unhinged, too much, and bossy. Whether or not there is a man or woman on the receiving end. Why not call her what she actually is? An assertive individual, a go-getter, a confident woman with a passionate professional, with a passion and professional and growth mindset. But then being a woman feels like a blessing. The honor of being someone's sister, daughter, partner, and more than anything, mother. Giving life to another being. Nurturing an infant and providing the kind of love that men are incapable of producing. As we have gathered here, there are Iranian, Afghan, Syrian, Indian, and other women around the world fighting for their basic human rights, for the freedom of expression, the right to education, divorce, custody of their children, choosing their own partner, to have a job, possess a passport, rent a hotel, travel, abortion, the use of birth control, and even letting their hair loose. As we are sitting here, there are millions of people on the streets of Iran protesting against the child and women murderer regime of Islamic Republic. This weekend marks the anniversary of death of Mahsa Amini, who was a 22-year-old Iranian girl killed by the Islamic Republic regime of Iran. Her death led to a global uprising and a revolution that is still ongoing. For the past 44 years, the Islamic Republic has oppressed women to the point that an entire gender has become a minority in their own home country. Tomorrow, on September 16th, in all continents and countries, in every major and minor city, Iranians and non-Iranians have risen to ask for a regime change in Iran. The Woman, Life, Freedom slogan is the primary slogan for this revolution, and it has awakened women around the world to stand up and fight for their basic human rights. Today, I am surrounded by wonderful custodians, and I am going to try my best not to cry, which I failed just like 2 minutes ago. Because I have listened to some of these wonderful women before, and I have been touched by their words. And their stories have fueled me to put this gathering together, and I will not stop until I can see improvement in human rights for women globally and decrease in sex trafficking numbers in Houston. Today, we were blessed by the presence of nonprofit organizations such as The Bridge, Daya, Amana, Engage, and the presence of women at Microsoft, as well as local officials and police department fighting against sex trafficking and for our protection. Houston Police Department works hard to ensure all of our children grow up in their own families. Our first speaker today is Sherman. Sherman is an ordinary Iranian-American turned rights activist. She is a devoted altruist with a deep desire to be a force for positive change in the world. Her voice is her most powerful weapon. Please help me welcome Sherman to the stage.
I want you to imagine living in a country where the law dictates that women are second-class citizens. Schools are segregated by gender starting in kindergarten. Buses are gender segregated, with men seated at the front and women in the back. Singing and dancing in public is illegal if you are a woman, as is riding a bike. All premarital relationships, illegal. Public displays of affection, including holding hands and hugging, illegal. Sleeveless shirts, showing your ankles, also illegal. The law does not guarantee equal pay for equal work, prevent sexual harassment, or criminalize violence against women. The sentence for killing a woman is only half that of killing a man, because the law states that a woman's worth is only half that of a man's. You need 2 female witnesses to equal 1 man. A son inherits twice as much as a daughter. A man receives his deceased wife's entire estate, while a widow gets only an eighth of her husband's. A child bride as young as 9 can be married with her father's consent. A man can get a divorce simply by declaring it verbally. But a woman must prove in court that her husband is an addict abusive, insane, or imprisoned. Even after a divorce, a mother can have custody of her children only if they have not yet turned 7, upon which custody is returned to the father. A divorced woman forfeits child custody if she remarries, even if her husband has died. A child that has reached puberty can be legally prosecuted and punished as an adult, including prison, lashes, and the death penalty. And from the age of 9, the law requires that girls cover their hair. The regime has installed the morality police to patrol the streets and enforce the mandatory hijab rules. And showing a few strands of hair is reason enough for the police to harass, fine, imprison, or kill you. The dystopia that I am describing to you today may sound unfathomable to Americans, but these laws and many others are the reality for women in Iran and have been for the past 44 years. Iranians have long been frustrated and angry with the regime. Yearly double-digit inflation, widespread unemployment, and systematic injustice plague the country. The political economy favors regime loyalists and is marked by mismanagement, cronyism, nepotism, human rights abuses, and rampant corruption. The regime's antics have put a once thriving Iran in a triple crisis of economic, social, and ecological decay, and have ruined the Iranian people's belief in religion. In contrast to the Islamic Republic, the Iranian population has become increasingly secular. The situation has trapped them in a paradox of privately adhering to secular values while outwardly going through the motions of religion to avoid conflict with authorities. It is upon this backdrop that I submit to you the story of Mahsa Jina Amini. Mahsa Amini was a 22-year-old girl from the Kurdistan province of Iran. She was just visiting Tehran when she was detained by the morality police for allegedly wearing her hijab loosely. Mahsa was arrested and dragged into a police van. She was taken to a detention center to be schooled on modesty, where she collapsed and fell into a coma. On September 16, 2022, only 3 days after her arrest, her life came to an untimely end. The events that followed happened in rapid succession. Multiple witnesses said that she was viciously beaten with a police gun. Doctors at the hospital said her skull was fractured from repeated blows, causing a brain bleed and swelling. Footage of her arrest and subsequent collapse emerged, showing Mahsa dressed modestly and not without hijab. The Iranian government went into damage control, claiming that Mahsa had pre-existing heart problems and that she died of a heart attack, a lie that the family and the public quickly rejected. Images of Mahsa languishing in a coma and her family embracing in grief spread like wildfire across Iran, enraging the couple. Iranians had been seething below the surface for many years, but this was a tipping point. Mahsa's murder set into motion a chain of extraordinary events that have rocked the Islamic Republic to its core. Her story resonates with so many Iranians because what happened to Mahsa could have happened to any Iranian woman. Mahsa was every Iranian woman. She was not part of the civil disobedience campaign. She was not unveiled. She was just an ordinary girl wearing an ordinary outfit out to visit Tehran. And the people of Iran know the truth, that the Islamic Republic is neither Islamic nor a republic. Mahsa's death underlined all of these pent-up frustrations and created sweeping indignation. Iranians saw Mahsa's murder at the hands of the morality police as the result of a systematic pattern of brutal violations of women's rights exercised with both callousness and impunity. For 4 decades, the theocratic dictatorship of Iran has used the mandatory hijab as a cornerstone of their hold over the people. But the people have had enough. In a tidal wave of daily protests, unlike anything seen in Iran since the 1979 revolution, tens of thousands of protesters took to the streets calling for regime change. Women across Iran bravely ripped off their hijabs in public and set them on fire. Women and girls boldly cut off their hair in public and danced in the streets. Large crowds chanted iconic slogans like "Woman, Life, Freedom," and "Death to the Dictator." Even school children took part. It was an unprecedented display of unity and a ray of hope for democracy. But the regime had other plans. The government's reaction was nothing short of brutal. Uniformed and plainclothes security forces sprayed unarmed crowds with live ammunition and metal pellets. In its attempt to prove that it did not kill Mahsa Amini, the regime killed hundreds of protesters and injured thousands more. Over 20,000 protesters were imprisoned. Some just disappeared. The deliberate denial of medical care was systematic. Hospitals were surrounded by guards, waiting to arrest injured protesters. Ambulances drove straight to detention centers. Doctors helping injured were arrested and tortured. Many horrific acts of violence and cruel and inhumane tortures, including flogging, rape, electrocution, amputation, blinding, and more, were carried out. Despite the regime's efforts at shutting down the internet, Iranians cleverly used VPNs to circumvent internet censorship, and thus thousands of heartbreaking and awe-inspiring videos and images poured out of Iran. The regime fast-tracked systematically unfair trials on trumped-up and ridiculous charges, like waging war against God. And with no legal representation, forced confessions were extracted under torture. And protesters were condemned to death. The government went on a chilling execution spree, giving Iran the grim distinction of the highest number of executions per capita in the entire world. After months of nationwide protests and the regime's escalating brutality, the scare tactics took a toll, and protests largely subsided. But resistance against the regime has continued. Mahsa's murder, because of her hijab, has turned the hijab itself into a symbol of the Islamic Republic. Iranians reject the Islamic Republic, and a large percentage of women across Iran reject the hijab. do not wear the full veil anymore because they don't want to be confused with regime supporters. Iranians across the country are no longer wearing the hijab. And supporters of the regime are dissenting in droves. And this would have been unthinkable a year ago. The government has long promoted hijab as a pillar of the Islamic Republic, so they know that their grip on power depends on compliance. And that is precisely why authorities show no signs of backing down. They have responded to announcing resistance against the compulsory hijab exactly like a regime that knows it is ending, with policies and legislation to ramp up the pressure. Increased enforcement through facial recognition, pressure on businesses, hefty fines, and deprivation of social benefits. But the regime finds that it has maneuvered itself into a dead end. You know why? It's unable to arrest and prosecute millions who defy hijab laws. Yet, it can't go easy on it because their theocracy hinges on it. They have no way out. They know the regime's end is inevitable. The protests have subsided, but the revolution lives on in the hearts and the minds of the Iranian people. The murder of Mahsa Amini marked an irreversible and fundamental cultural renaissance in Iran. Mahsa will never wake again. But her story awakened all of Iran and reverberated across the entire world. Earlier this week, the United States House of Representatives passed the Mahsa Act to sanction senior Iranian regime officials, sending a clear message to Iranian freedom fighters. That Americans stand with you, that we share your battle cry. Zan, Zindagi, Azadi, woman, life, freedom.
I'm going to end the program right now because I don't know how anybody. All right, I do have a video to show, and my laptop is so kind to me that says, you know what, I'm not going to play it, you gotta go play it off of here. So, no, not that. Please ignore me. This is the video I want to play. Thank you. This is not playing. Is it playing on it? Thank you. I don't know why this is not playing, so I'm gonna just get out the video at this point because it's not playing. I don't know why the sound is not coming out. We had the IT guy work on this for 6 hours. It's not working. Okay, great. I want to welcome our commissioner, Mr. Briones. She's going to honor us and read the proclamation issued by the City of Houston naming September 16th after Mahsa Amini to mark a day in our calendars for women, life, freedom, I'd like to mention that many cities, including Austin and Friendswood in Texas, have also received this proclamation, and we will make sure that the state of Texas, just like the state of Arizona already has, will name September 16 after Mahsa Amini and shed a light on human rights violations against women. Thank you so much.
Thank you and good afternoon. I'm Leslie Briones, and I'm so grateful to be one of your Harris County Commissioners. And I'm particularly grateful to represent the largest concentration of AAPI community members in the state of Texas and the most substantial Muslim population in the state of Texas in our part of Harris County. So I'm here today on behalf of Harris County and in partnership with our Mayor, Sylvester Turner. We stand in solidarity. Your words were incredibly powerful. And we stand here today with so much anger and angst. And it is up to us to continue to unite and stand together and turn that anger into action. And know that here in Houston and Harris County, we stand in solidarity. As women, and I see some young girls here, I have 3 little girls myself. I believe deeply that all of our equality and all of our destinies are so interconnected. So what is happening every day in Iran affects my daughters, affects you, because we are all one. And we are going to continue to rise together in our freedom, in our equality, and it's only in working together that we will activate at the level we need in this country, in Iran, and in every country around the world. Because I want all women, I want my daughters and all of our daughters to grow up with their inherent freedom and equality and be respected for the characters and the integrity that they possess. Because our equality is inherent. And together we will keep fighting in Iran, in the United States, in every country. Because our daughters deserve it, and our sons. Because again, I believe all of our equality is interconnected. I will close with this beautiful proclamation from our City of Houston, Mayor Sylvester Turner, and we also have a recognition from Harris County as well. And before I read, if we could please just have a moment of silence again to honor Mahsa, her life and her legacy. Whereas in September of 2022, the world was shocked when Mahsa Amini, also known as Jina Mahsa Amini, a 22-year-old Iranian girl, was arrested on the basis of inadequate head covering. And whereas her unjust treatment and untimely death became a catalyst for the first ever female-led revolution called the Woman Life Freedom Movement, where women demanded nothing less than basic human rights and equality between all men and women. And whereas women in Houston and women in Harris County have been moved by the global Woman Life Freedom Movement in Iran and are encouraged to fight against the human rights violations against women. And whereas on September 15th, 2023, proud, brave, brilliant, bold Houstonian women will host an amazing event that is slated to provide discussion and strategy to change the unjust course of the history concerning women. The City of Houston and Harris County commends all entities that will engage and participate in this movement to preserve and to continue the legacy of Mahsa Amini. Therefore, I, on behalf of Sylvester Turner, Mayor of the City of Houston, and I, as Leslie Briones, one of your Harris County Commissioners, do hereby proclaim September 2023 as Mahsa Amini Day in Houston, Harris County, Texas. Thank you. Thank you.
This moment by taking a picture with our beautiful proclamation, if you don't mind.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you for the honor of inviting me today.
Let's stand right there in the front and take a picture. Thank you so much. Rosie, please. Suki, you're the city officials, please. All right, thank you so much. I want to also mention again that the city of Houston was the first city in U.S. as far as I am concerned that gave the proclamation to Mahsa Amini for September 16. And Austin's proclamation is also there. Please feel free to take pictures of it, take pictures with it. It's awesome that Friendswood in Texas, I also mentioned that they also gave a proclamation for the Mahsa Day, and they're keeping it coming all around the world, so it's awesome. I am sorry to say that Rashna is not here today, but we do have someone on her behalf to give us a beautiful speech. Rashna is with Daya. She is the executive director. She's been the executive director since 2016. Daya is a Houstonian nonprofit organization that its mission is to empower South Asian survivors of domestic and sexual violence with culturally responsive services and to educate the community to end the cycle of abuse. So I'd like to welcome you to come here and speak on behalf of Russia. Thank you so much.
Hi everyone. Unfortunately, Rashna cannot be here today due to illness, but I'm so honored to be here on her behalf. I extend my heartfelt gratitude to Danya for uniting us under the umbrella of these profound concepts. My name is Mansi Boxy, and I'm a client advocate at DAYA, whose mission is to empower South Asian survivors of gender-based violence with culturally specific services. At DAYA, we stand shoulder to shoulder with survivors, offering them a personal and confidential path towards safety and independence. Our array of services spans crisis counseling, safety strategies, trauma therapy, case management, economic empowerment, and education for prevention. At our core, we acknowledge the role that culture plays in the process of healing. Our very name, Daya, is drawn from Sanskrit, meaning compassion. Daya dismantles barriers that constrain women facing abuse in our community. Language, culture, extended family abuse, and the complexities of immigration. We confront them all. Consider the poignant story of a client, we'll call her Zara, one of over 650 clients that we champion annually. Zara, married in Iran, spent the next several decades in Houston a seemingly idyllic life with a husband and family. Yet beneath the veneer of affluence lay reality far more removed from her dreams. A woman who, instead of forging relationships, was relegated to conversations with the wives of her husbands, friends only. A woman forbidden to learn English, pursue an education, or employment. Through isolation and the strategic avoidance of visa paperwork, her husband confined her. Her children were manipulated to vilify, lay, and harm her. Her world was a prison. A sprawling home was now reduced to a single room. She was battered and profoundly alone until Daya emerged as a lifeline. It started with a safety plan, securing her well-being as we plotted the course ahead together. At Daya, we present choices, understanding that true transformation stems from within. Over the years, we walked alongside her through a labyrinth of systems: immigration, family law, housing. She also navigated the pain of her past, along with confronting the abuse from her marriage and the echoes of her childhood trauma. Daya's support connected her back to her potential, her possibilities. Zara's journey was an awakening to the truth that women are deserving of life and of freedom. For 27 years, Daya has been a refuge of healing and empowerment. But this calling is not ours alone. Gender-based violence is rooted with patriarchal norms, age-old systems that victimize individuals across gender identities. Our mission to end this oppression requires a united front, a symphony of many voices. Zara's story is interwoven with the fabric of our community. A compassionate neighbor was the person who first helped her make her call to her helpline. An act of courage that shattered the myth that domestic violence is a private and personal affair. A bank teller became her patient ally in financial independence. A landlord understood that a woman's worth is more than her credit score. As individuals, as friends, as allies, continue to follow your instinct to help others. Reach out to those you worry about. Lend a private ear. Believe them. None of us are saviors, rather beacons of empathy. By connecting survivors to Daya, you illuminate the path to freedom. Zara's journey is a testament to endurance. While she lives in a one-bedroom apartment, relies on the bus for transportation and food stamps for groceries, resilience runs through her veins. Her healing is not linear, but she continues to invest in herself, supported by her chosen family and the community that she is building. While Daya works tirelessly to help victims become survivors, true change does not happen without you all. It is your vocal commitment to ending violence and supporting survivors that transports women from surviving to thriving. 27 years and counting, I thank you for joining our mission.
Thank you so much. Our next speaker is Jina. She is the CEO of Amana, a nonprofit organization serving refugees in Houston. Jina has over 15 years of experience developing and executing solutions that strengthens the company's impact and involve its business growth. She holds a Master of Business Administration degree from Texas A&M, a Marketing Strategy Certificate from Cornell University, and a BBA in Finance and Economics from the University of St. Thomas. Please help me welcome Jina to the stage.
Good evening, everyone. How's everybody doing? You're so quiet.
Shy.
Well, I did not write a speech because I didn't want everyone to fall asleep while I talk. So I have some points, I'm going to talk, and then I hope I hear some chuckles with you guys. And I would go every year to the oil technology conference, and you would see not very many women there. And I would want to say after 10 years, you started seeing a lot more women in the industry, a lot more women in leadership positions, because we started to speak up to understand that we add value, we have ideas, we can execute just like anyone else. At refugee services, we focus on women and youth, and women especially because they are vulnerable. And, you know, women who come here as a refugee, as an asylee, whether they're documented or not, have experienced real trauma. Trauma that none of us could imagine unless you've experienced it yourself. And even us sitting in this room, many of us maybe from a point of privilege have our own trauma, but if you can imagine, we have left our homes. We didn't have to leave all of our belongings. We didn't see war. We didn't see family members die in front of us. We didn't imagine, I don't even think we can imagine that kind of pain and suffering, even being torn away from half of your family. Many of the women that we serve, especially after the Afghan migration, we have many women who left their husbands and their children, and they're here by themselves with young children, and they don't speak the language. They have cultural differences, language differences, and we can't expect them to be successful without support. And that is the most important thing that we can do, is to support, create programs that support women in integrating and supporting them in education. Many women who come here from Afghanistan, from Syria, from all over, sometimes don't have the opportunity or the privilege to be educated or and pursue that. So we have to make sure that our youth and our women are educated, and that they know that they are going to add value and have success in their life. And that is really a part of my vision for this organization. It's a life cycle. We're not here for the short term. We're here to support women and children over the long term. And it usually takes about 7 years for refugees to get integrated into the Houston community, and that's with support. You know, COVID's definitely exacerbated the support services. Many people are still, aside from refugees, are still living in poverty. So we have so many challenges with our own community that we have to address. But being a woman definitely does have its challenges, but it's not a curse. Definitely not a curse, right? There are many things that women add, you know, to society here. I look at my daughter, so my daughter came with me. She's the assistant boss, by the way, of the refugee services, the unpaid one. And I don't want to hear about child labor, okay? She's 10. But a part of what I do for my daughter is be a role model. That she sees her mom being able to lead an organization, make a community impact, help people, support others. And that way she knows that this is not unnatural, or that she knows that this is not unattainable. She knows that, hey, I can be a CEO one day. I can make impact. I can be a director. I can be an engineer, a scientist, an astronaut, whatever she wants to be, that she knows that there's no past ceiling. And she knows that women are also valued. I will close with a story. A story of a woman who had to leave 2 of her children and her husband. And she traveled to Turkey, and then she came to Houston. And is still struggling today, so it's not a success story yet. But she is making it work. She is learning English. She has 2 children at home with her because she can't afford to send them to daycare at the time. But she is working on herself. And I want to say in the next 6 to 12 months, she's going to be able to be self-sustaining, making her own income. And that story of not getting to success yet is powerful because she's on her way. And it's good to know that we have other organizations like Amana, like Veya, like other organizations who focus on women, that they exist and they're here. So with that, I will take a seat.
Thank you so much, and I don't think anybody is falling asleep. If anything, I think everybody's happy that we're indoors, right? Yes, you don't want to be out in that beautiful rain. Often people complain about how going to say, Californians came to Houston and they were like, oh, I don't like it here. I was like, great, go to Austin, we love that. And they did. Guess what? We're safe in Houston. Let's keep it the way it is, okay? Obviously, improve some things, but whatever it is, let's keep it the way it is. So Californians don't come here and take over our city. We like it the way it is. Please go to Austin. Next career, comedian. This human rights activist thing is not working out for me. Baru Shamsi has been politically active for over 17 years, starting as a precinct chair in Houston, Texas, and then as a 3-term member of the Texas State Democratic Executive Committee. He rounded out his formal positions by being elected vice chair of the Texas Democratic Party, the first Asian American and Muslim American to reach this position. He has been an engaged board member for both the C4 and C3 organizations and is heavily involved in the Texas chapter. For his contributions, he was recognized in Houston with the Engaged Civic Outreach Award to the stage. Please help me welcome Farouk for his speech. We also want to mention that Farouk has been supporting us on adjustments as well as some other organizations that are here. But I had to cut his bio so short. His bio is like 5 pages, but he definitely deserves it.
I'm just glad I didn't wear the same tie. Who would have thought? Thank you so much for a very warm introduction. And after following all these heartwarming, heartbreaking stories, I feel very inadequate here. But I will definitely talk to you about our organization and what we're advocating for. Engage Texas and our national organization Engage, we have a long history. We were first established in Texas and Florida over 15 years ago. We register Arab, Middle Eastern, Muslim, and South Asian voters, and also develop relationships with those voters to make sure they come out and vote for our endorsed candidates. We conduct candidate forums, like the upcoming one for the City of Houston candidates on Sunday, October 15th, just doing a plug, in partnership with Baker Ripley, supported by the AAPI community. Through our national policy team, engages family institutions, advances policies to uplift Muslim Americans and Muslims around the world. Around the globe, minorities are often denied basic rights simply because they are minorities. Our advocacy centers on the voices and interests of communities targeted for surveillance, displacement, internment, and even worse forms of civil and human rights abuses. And yes, that has a special emphasis on women. Our recent Engage Action advocacy successfully supported legislation aimed at protecting and empowering the Uyghur community, a minority group in China, subject to displacement and internment in forced re-education, quote-unquote, camps. The Secretary of Treasury determined that sanctions under Magnitsky Act should apply to entities involved in serious human rights abuses against the Uyghur and other Muslim community minorities, and they are to act. Raising awareness on the religious freedom crisis in India also, where Prime Minister Modi's ruling party's embrace of religious and ethnic nationalism promotes intolerance and violence towards Christians, Muslims, Sikhs, and other minorities. Supporting the right to boycott human rights violators, including the BDS movement nationally and in Texas by repealing Texas law that forbids teachers and other government contractors from exercising the rights to protest Israel's occupation of Palestine. Advocating to end U.S. policies that enable violence against Palestinians and the seizure and destruction of Palestinian property. Supporting minority rights and democracy in Burma. The Rohingya Muslims and other persecuted minority groups in Burma are the subjects of genocide as determined by the U.S. State Department in 2022. Engage Action continuously tirelessly advocating for legislation holding the military rulers of Burma accountable for horrific human rights violations that caused over 900,000 Rohingya to flee the country. This act includes authorization to include new sanctions and provide assistance to efforts against human rights abuses. At home and abroad, engaged institutions are committed to helping move the world in the direction of justice, freedom, democracy, and equality, including equality for women where disparity between the sexes still exists. Every person, no matter where they live, no matter their gender, race, or ethnicity, no matter what religion they practice, no matter their political beliefs, deserves the dignity of basic human rights. Repression of any individual due to their identity and or gender is unacceptable and is something Engage's family of organizations fights against every day here and abroad. Human rights include protecting women from subjugation, discrimination, jailing, or even violence due to their sex and manner of presentation. Repression of any individual due to their identity is unacceptable and is something Engage's family of organizations fights against every day here and abroad. The oppression of women occurs by amplifying ancient cultural beliefs, and this suppression is being conducted by a government because in their eyes it keeps the population under control. An incredibly sad situation. Thank you very much.
I didn't want to point this out at all, but I think I should this one. He is our only male speaker. I don't know how that happened. Maybe because he was so bold. Well, we love him anyways. I did say well stuff about Californians, but I have to say Jina Mahsa is next, and he's from California. He is a comedian, singer, and actor building his career in Los Angeles. He performs up and down the beautiful state of California and soon will be a traveling artist. He's also a human rights activist and approaches all ventures with love. If it's not rooted in love, he does not pursue it. Please help me welcome Pejman, all the way from California. We love California. I was just talking about it. The one and only worthy of my recording at this wonderful event. Don't cancel us, Pejman. We love you.
I deserve all that shade about California. All right.
All right. You know you want to move here.
I'm loving
Houston, give it up for Houston. All right. Yeah. Give it up for Donia, please. It's no irony, her name means world. So she's literally bringing the world together. So that's beautiful. And she included Californians. That's great. I did speak, so I guess I'm the second guy who spoke. So now I'll do some singing for you. This song, many know, it's called "It's a Man's World." So. This is a man's world. This is a man's world. But it wouldn't be nothing without what? A woman or a girl. Man makes a little baby girl or a baby boy. Man makes them happy, 'cause man makes them toys. After man's made everything he can, you know that man makes that money to buy from another man. It is a man's world, but it wouldn't be nothing without a woman or a
California's contribution is singing. Thank you, California. All right. Next is Carolina. I have recently gotten to know Carolina Ortiz. She is the CEO of Z-Mart Global Services and Insurance, and she is a Latina mom of 5, and she is a wife. She has been in the insurance business for over 18 years and has spent that time helping clients find the right insurance coverage and educating them on its importance. When she's not working, she enjoys spending time with her family, and a personal goal of her is to advocate for self-defense classes. Sign me up too. She believes in empowering people to protect themselves. Please help and welcome Carolina.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming today to discuss an issue that affects too many of our fellow citizens. In our great nation, one of the most pressing challenges is the affliction of domestic violence and sex trafficking. While it touches every demographic, Hispanic women, in particular, find themselves at a distressing intersection of vulnerability. Historically, many Hispanic families in the U.S. have lived in the shadows. There are several reasons for this: fear related to immigration status, language barriers, and deeply ingrained cultural norms that polarize family unity. These elements, while integral to their identity, also create barriers for those who suffer in silence. Firstly, immigration status can be a weapon wielded by abusive partners. Threats of deportation or separation from children can keep victims from seeking help even when they're in need. Language barriers further complicate matters. If you can't communicate your pain, if you can't articulate your fears, how do you find refuge? Many Hispanic women, especially those new to the country, do not have the linguistic tools to navigate the system meant to protect them. Moreover, cultural norms within Hispanic communities polarize family unity, where there's deeply held belief that family matters should stay within the family. While this sense of unity and the strength of many contexts, it can unfortunately deter victims from speaking out against an abusive family member. Despite these challenges, it is imperative for us to stand together and offer our support. It's crucial to create safe spaces where victims can come forward without judgment, to educate our communities about the resources available, and to ensure these resources are accessible to those who speak Spanish. To those Hispanic women who are listening to me today, you are not alone. You deserve safety, respect, and love. And to those broader communities, let us remember that it is upon all of us to offer understanding, to extend a hand, and to be beacon of hope for everyone. after a world where every woman, regardless her background, can live free of fear. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Carolina. Next we have Brooke Fisher from the Bridge Over the Troubled Waters. I got to know them while I was working for Exxon, did some work with them, and I look forward to working with them again. Brooke is the education and outreach advocate at the Bridge Over Troubled Waters, a domestic violence and sexual assault crisis center in Pasadena, Texas. She grew up in Pasadena area and attended school at the University of Houston, where she earned a bachelor's degree in history and public relations. Brooke is currently earning a master's of social work degree and enjoying her role as an educator and advocate. Creating safe spaces for individuals to discuss topics that address the root causes of violence in the community of Houston. Please help me welcome Brooke to the stage.
Already know a little bit about me, but my name is Brooke Fisher, and I'm the Education and Outreach Advocate at the Bridge Over Troubled Waters, an organization in Pasadena, Texas that serves all survivors of domestic violence, sexual assault, human trafficking, and stalking. At the Bridge, our services include a 24-hour hotline, emergency shelter, a housing program, advocacy, support groups, counseling, child care, and last but not least, there's my department, education and prevention. My team and I are tasked with moving the movement forward. Much of our focus involves strengthening communities in our service area and encouraging progress in our own organization, as I urge all of you to do yours. We work hard to address the root causes of violence, which are the dominant systems of power and oppression that govern the way we live. Systems which disproportionately affect marginalized communities. We often do this through our work with young people in local schools and community centers, where we give presentations and facilitate psychoeducational groups which center topics that aid our efforts to prevent violence. Topics such as healthy relationships, teen dating violence, gender socialization, and a personal favorite of mine, bystander intervention, because the ability to make a difference does not come with an age requirement. Working with groups of young people is my absolute favorite part of my job, and it is where I have witnessed some of the most meaningful change. These groups give us the opportunity to work with the same young people for roughly 7 to 10 weeks, and during this time, we engage in trust building and develop a set of agreements that help us create a safe space in which to have sometimes difficult conversations. With the young people, we talk about what a healthy relationship looks like and what we call the 4 pillars, which are communication, equality, boundaries, and self-esteem. We communicate to the young people that they deserve respect in all of their relationships and that their thoughts, feelings, and opinions matter always. As the weeks go by, we see so much growth in their willingness to speak openly and honestly about their unique perspectives and experiences. We do this because a major part of preventing violence and moving the movement forward involves both supporting and respecting the next generation. Thank you.
All right. You remember stuff? All right. Good
grandmother that was saying she was tough was an understatement. She grew up in Baha'i, which is a minority group in Iran, and they're persecuted as such. My mom did time in prison in the 80s before I was born, simply for being a minority. No crimes other than that. And she spent a year in prison. I was born after her release, and I learned that, she got tougher in prison. So, but I dedicate this to all women, and a special dedication to my mom. So.
What is happening? He can sing, okay. I expect everybody to thank me for flying him from California to sing, because if you wanted me to sing, oh boy, there would not be anybody left here. I would be canceled in no time. And if God would have booked me a flight to California, they're like, you should not be in Houston. I will say Nisi's bio, and something about Nisi is that I recently met her when we were doing a campaign to stop human trafficking, sex trafficking in Houston. I met her and I was in tears because I had actually never met a trafficked person, in person. So it was very moving. And I was like, I definitely need to have her here. She is stuck in San
but she did record a video for us. I'm going to tell you a little bit about her. Dr. Lucy Hamilton is an award-winning child trafficking survivor and multi-million-dollar fundraiser. She is the recipient of the Foundation of Improvement of Justice Award for her outstanding achievements in improving justice for child trafficking victims. The profiles in Courage Award presented by the National Prosecutors Association and the Protect Her Award. She designed bills in the state of Texas, coined this Texas Smart Act after she made it illegal to work in any sexually oriented business at the age of 18. You must now be 21 years of age. She found ferociously against conglomerates, I have no idea how to say that word, but I tried it, to have them shut down between the hours of 2 a.m. and 6 a.m. in Dallas, Texas. She's the CEO and founder of a nonprofit called Mrs. Network, where her vision is protecting our youth and demanding change, and her mission is to create crime reduction solutions to end adultification and human trafficking against our youth. I'm going to try and play her video here that she recorded for us. And if we cannot hear her, I am so dead, which is happening. Something that is happening is that I believe my sound is locked for some reason. It is all connected. It's just my laptop. I feel like there's something. This is like locked. Yeah, it's completely messed up. I can go to sound. See if this plays.
Hey, Houston, Texas. Oh my God. Hey, Houston, Texas. Oh my God, I miss you guys so much already. I am stuck in San Antonio, Texas. But nevertheless, I am here doing a human trafficking training at Fort Sam, Houston, you guys. I'm in a military installation, doing what I do best, teaching the masses about human trafficking and traveling the globe, you guys. I love what I do, but most importantly, I am so proud that you all showed up today for my girl Tanya and to support woman life freedom. You guys, if you hadn't noticed, Houston, we have a problem. And you know what? That problem isn't just human trafficking. It is the insinuation that a young girl's freedom, that a young man's freedom can be demoralized, can be the sum total of the existence around sex, sexual orientation, or how someone perceives that child or that woman to be used for earning potential through sex, through prostitution, through debaucherous and lewd acts. Slavery used to just be picking cotton. And then as time went on, slavery turned into not being able to drink water out your water hose. Slavery turned into not being able to eat what you want to eat. And now slavery is how much is your gas you put in your tank every day, right? We went from $1.50 to $2.30 to $3.30. Slavery is a numerous of things. It's multifaceted. But as much as we talk about slavery, as much as we talk about the freedoms that are not extended to us, one of the things that we don't expound our attention on is the freedom portion, right? Because ladies, freedom is your portion. I believe wholeheartedly that God delivered me so that I can deliver the masses. My job is to duplicate freedom. And today, that's your job. Your sole job, your sole inspiration is to duplicate the freedom that you set out for your own self. Because at the end of the day, rescuing yourself, that was only a fraction of the solving. You only solved one piece of the puzzle. Now you have to go out and solve all the mysteries of the world. And that's when a woman is involved. Listen, you guys, if you think human trafficking isn't a big deal, truly it is. Understand this, 1 in 4 girls will have been sexually exploited before they reach the age of 18. I want you to let that sit. I want you to let that rest, those numbers. I want you to let that rest on your mind. So when I say duplicate freedom, I am asking you to arise. I am asking you to beat the social standard. I am asking you to be socially and consciously responsible. I am asking you to downplay something that you really love. So if you love being on social media all day, I'm asking you to downplay that. Expound your mind. Extend your forces. Join arms to make sure that somebody is not invisible because you didn't fight for them to be able to express their freedom. Freedom is being able to walk down the street and not be catcalled at. Freedom is being able to walk to the store and somebody not try to lower my 12-year-old, my 13-year-old, my 15-year-old daughter into their vehicle so that they can do with them as they please. I want you to think about that. How did we get here? And if you think that number is atrocious, for my boys, 1 in 6 males will have been sexually exploited before they reach the age of 18. You should feel some type of way. You should feel some type of way when your young daughter is looking for love, but her boyfriend can't find himself because somebody didn't love him past his pain. You should be inspired to want to understand how did we allow our generation to be so loose about terminologies that are affecting our futures, that are affecting our heritages, that are affecting our last names, that are affecting our inheritance of freedom. We can beat this drum until we're 80 and 90 years old. But let me tell you something that I learned from experience. Baby, I'm a prayer warrior. But this fight, this is one of the type of fights we can't pray our way out of. This is a fight where it's going to require the women. This is a fight where it's going to require some people to lay down their lives. But this is the type of fight that is going to require a type of freedom that burdens you to make sure somebody else is free too. If somebody wrote wrong, then it's your job to figure out what those rules are and to break them every single time. Because that's the only way we're going to get far. It's the only way. I want you to break the rule, break the reins of freedom. Break it. Break every
Highly recommend y'all look up Nisi great job. I do want to say that during my time living in Houston, I have been approached by 2 cars for sex trafficking, simply walking my dogs outside of my gate. That's not a joke. The first day, I speak up, as you all know, I am a strong-minded person, and I do speak my mind. But what I was gonna say is that the second day I did have a taser on me, and I didn't even know if it was legal to have a taser on you or not. I hope it was. But I told the guy, you want to be tased or you want me to call 911? And he's like, I didn't even say nothing. I was like, yes, you did. But I am afraid of walking my dogs. And as we turn to the winter time, which is a little later than the sun comes up and faster than the sun goes down, I kid you not, I do have to rearrange my life just to make sure that I am walking my dogs when there is daylight out there. So let this be our issue. This is our issue. This is not just some other people's issue. Just because we're Baha'is, just like Pejman was saying, and some people didn't do anything about it, and now it's them in Iran being persecuted as well. I just want to know, before it gets to us, we need to do something about other people. And it doesn't really matter which neighborhood you live in. Trust me, this happens everywhere, in every neighborhood. If you don't believe me, look it up. I have Lieutenant Merritt here. In June 1994, Lieutenant Angelina Merritt began her career with the Houston Police Department, and throughout her 29 years of service, she has worked various assignments that have cultivated her leadership skills and capabilities. Currently, she's assigned to the Vice Division Human Trafficking Unit, which is responsible for the investigation of human trafficking and human smuggling. She earned a Bachelor of Science degree in Criminal Justice from Prairie View A&M University and is a lifetime member of Alpha Kappa Alpha Society. Please help me welcome Lieutenant Merritt to the stage.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for inviting me to participate in this wonderful celebration of women and to honor Mahsa as well. What is human trafficking? What does human trafficking look like? Most people don't think that it could be something that could happen to a next-door neighbor, friend, or loved one. Most people think that human trafficking only occurs in a foreign country thousands of miles away. Although it does happen in other countries, the sad reality is that it is also occurring in our very own neighborhoods to vulnerable individuals who look very much like you and me. The sad reality is that human trafficking is occurring to our young ladies and women within our communities, our mothers, our daughters, our sisters. Anyone is susceptible to becoming a victim of human trafficking. If it were not for a few decisions along the way during our life's journey, that we did not fall prey to becoming a victim of human trafficking. Human trafficking can be defined as the exploitation of another person through force, fraud, or coercion to engage in sex acts for monetary compensation or involuntary servitude. In a nation that has an abundance of resources available at our fingertips and is more socially conscious than ever before, one may ask, why is human trafficking occurring within our cities and our communities, and why is it so prevalent? The realization that human trafficking exists is because its dark nature and its ability to hide behind closed doors. No one wants to bring up the topic, let alone discuss, due to its sensitive nature. No one wants to talk about it openly. But how can a person be educated on something that is not openly discussed or that is not fully talked about? How can a person guard him or herself from becoming a victim of human trafficking if no one is talking about it? Human trafficking is occurring in plain sight, yet hides in the dark shadows. To the young lady witnessed in the hotel lobby who is scantily clad dressed, to the restaurant worker encountered as the bill is paid, to the young girl who continually skips school to hang out on the street corner, Did it ever cross your mind that this person could be a victim of human trafficking? You may ask yourself, what would cause a person to allow him or herself to be under the control of another person only to be exploited over and over again? Many victims have asked the same question, but most often, circumstances do not start off in that manner. There are occasions where victims are abducted or kidnapped and forced into human trafficking. However, most often, this is not the case. Most victims meet their trafficker through friends, associates, or on various social media websites. While the victim is looking for attention, affection, or a better way of life, the trafficker is seeking for an easy prey. Similar to the laws of nature and how an animal will prey upon another animal that is weaker or more vulnerable. The trafficker seeks to gain the trust of his or her victim by showering him or her with attention, affection, or even gifts. Once that trust is gained, isolation, manipulation, and control soon follow, along with the threat or use of emotional and physical abuse. People often ask, why do victims, who most often are not shackled in chains or held in a cage, leave their trafficker? Due to the extent of trauma involved that is similar to domestic violence, most victims are fearful and have no means of supporting themselves. They have distrust for law enforcement and think that no one will believe their story. Or they do not identify as a victim because they believe their trafficker loves them. They often blame themselves or are too embarrassed to tell anyone. How do we fight human trafficking? Because human trafficking is so pervasive, it takes a multitude of resources in order to address the issue. It is impossible for one single agency or organization to effectively combat the issue. What is uniquely special to the Houston metropolitan area is that the Houston Police Department is part of the Human Trafficking Rescue Alliance Task Force, which is commonly referred to as HATRA. The task force consists of 33 local, state, and federal agencies within the surrounding Houston area. In addition, the task force also consists of victim service provider organizations, which have been a tremendous help with assisting victims with necessary resources to change their lives for the better. Through collaboration, each of these organizations has specific tools, expertise, and resources which serve as force multipliers to effectively combat the issue. Human trafficking is not just a law enforcement issue, it's a community issue for which we all share the responsibility of doing our part. You may ask, what can I do to resolve the issue? By educating yourself and becoming aware of indicators of human trafficking. Share that knowledge with your family, friends, co-workers. And if you suspect an incident of human trafficking, contact your local authorities. Thank you for allowing me the opportunity to share this important message with each of you. In order for us to celebrate women, it is important to shed light and bring awareness so we can help others who are becoming a victim of human trafficking. Thank you.
September is a month of remembrance, and I thought I couldn't come up here and not, remembering all the lives that were lost 22 years ago. I remember exactly where I was, just like everyone else that was old enough to remember it. And yeah, prayers to all those families and all the freedom fighters that they were trying to help and were perished in the
drenched in my pain again, becoming who we are. As my memory rests, but never forgets what I lost. Wake me up when September ends. Wake me up when September ends.
On, but can you? You know, for most of you that don't know me, or know me, I don't really need a microphone. I've swallowed one right after I was born. And I remember exactly where I was on September 11th. There is actually a chapter in my book about September 11th, and believe it or not, it shattered Iranians in Iran, and many Iranians were actually arrested and imprisoned for empathizing with the American people, because they turned on, they lit candles on the street and empathized with the Americans. When I printed this piece of paper this morning, I was expecting the flight of Congressman Algreen to be here on time, but it will blame the weather. But I'd like to say something about Congressman Algreen just as if he was sitting here. I believe he doesn't need an introduction. Everyone knows what a kind man he is. He cares about his community and dedicates every single minute of his day to activities that make a difference in the world. I first met him in person at the City Hall in Houston last February after I finished giving a speech about Iranians uniting with the Ukrainians as we marked the one sad year of Russia's attack on the Ukrainian people. He shook my hand so humbly, and I was honored. I then met him again at Fox 26 news station. He was there to talk about his wonderful work for an immigrant boy needing dialysis and that he was helping. I was there to talk about the executions of 3 more innocent Iranians by the hands of the Islamic Republic. There I invited him and his office to the June 20th Refugee Day, attempting and succeeding at uniting the refugee resettlement organizations here in Houston. Even though he was not able to join the event, he sent us a congressional recognition, which I was absolutely honored to receive. I was moved and was brought into tears by his words at the Slavery Remembrance Day at this very hotel just a few weeks ago. If you missed it, please sign up for next year because it is moving. Now, voting in DC ended early yesterday, and he was trying to come here today after his flight. Instead of going home to relax, he was planning on coming here to showcase care, compassion, and empathy, just like always. We have Colby on his behalf, honoring us with a congressional recognition. Please come here and thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Colby Beavers, and I'm here representing Congressman Al Green. He does send his apologies for again not being able to attend. However, I know this is something that he is extremely passionate about. Women in general, life, domestic violence, protection, human rights, the list goes on. So on behalf of Congressman Al Green, we do have a certificate of special congressional recognition to Ms. Dunn. In honor of your service to the community. I will go ahead and read what it says. On behalf of the constituents of the 9th Congressional District of Texas, I salute your dedicated commitment to fighting against domestic and sexual violence, as well as providing awareness through your Women Life Freedom program to communities across the greater Houston.
Thank you so much. I'd like to dedicate this to all women around the world because our city really recognizes people that are trying to do good, and I really appreciate that. I just want to say thank you, Rosie, for leaving that box of tissue down underneath my seat. With that said, I would like to honor our Houston Police Department. Thank you. I'd like to honor our Houston Police Department. They have done so much for us. I love working with you guys and girls. We'd like to, on behalf of the Iranians in Houston, we are honored to present Houston Police Department with a replica of the first ever written human rights declaration by Cyrus the Great from the 6th century BC. This replica came all the way from Iran, and it means the world to me to know that it is going to be at the Houston Police Department Museum to showcase that human rights was recognized 2,500 years ago by Iranians, and today we're still fighting for basic human rights in Iran. Cyrus the Great treated women as equals to men. During the construction of his palace in Persepolis, which everybody knows where that is, if you don't, please Google it, all men and women were paid. All labor, men or women, were paid. They were not slaves. They did not work for free. They were all paid, and they were all paid equally. They were treated with kindness and compassion, and women had paid maternity leave. 2,500 years ago in Iran, in the Great Persia, we had maternity leave for women. And today, I know women that don't want to have children because they can't take maternity leave. We should never live in a situation that we cannot have children to experience being a mother just because we cannot afford it. By dedicating this cylinder to the Houston Police Museum Department, we want to unite with the Houston Police Department in the fight for human rights for women and against sex trafficking in Houston. We would also like to thank HPD Public Assembly Unit for protecting us during all the protests that we had, not just Iranians, but also Ukrainians. They had protests, and HPD protected us, and I can't thank them enough. Special thanks to the Vice Unit and Lieutenant Merritt. We do have some honorary gifts for y'all. I can't call it gifts, sorry. Really correct. Honorary coins. Special thanks to Sergeant Wallace for his support and answering all my emails and texts. Thank you so much. And I want to thank Mr. Yazmani and Kaviani for all their support of this cause. Can we please ask you, Mr. Kaviani, and I don't know where Mr. Yazmani is, to join us because we have a special gift for you. And I want to meet those pictures. I'm going to go. Can we pull this up too, or no? It's very heavy. It's heavy. I live girl.
have some closing remarks. We hope to have an event for human rights violations against men because, as a human rights activist, we acknowledge that women and men are equal and there are a lot of injustice towards men as well. May this spiritual practice bring out the voices of all women struggling, all those left apart. May we let go of our assumptions and cold comforts of what it is to be normal or to live normal life. Unless it be a standard that is rooted in compassion, in inclusivity, and in diversity. May all girls paint their nails red, like me. Let their hair loose, attend school, have access to women's healthcare, and walk on the streets safely, laugh as loud, and not be judged or pursued for simply being a woman. Let our action to leave this room and be the person we needed when we were a teenager. Let us finally recognize the half of the world's population that has been neglected for thousands of years. Let women be women. Thank you. I have some special thanks to Wyndham Hotel, Mr. Bobby Azlani, for allowing the usage of this venue. He was very kind enough to allow us to have this event here. Rosie Moshrafi, my partner in crime. No crime. Sorry. Gosh, this is on the tape. Oh, gosh. Rosie in good crime, yes. She is with Affordable Health for Texas, and she supported this event more than anyone. Mr. Mark Kamiani with Summit International, thank you so much for all your support. HPD for honoring us by attending and participating in this event and all the previous Women Life Freedom protests. Chief Benton, Lieutenant Merritt, and Sergeant Wallace, thank you for your support. Colby, thank you for your presence, representing Congressman Al Green. Special thanks to council members that joined and city officials. I also want to mention, I have a special thanks to council member Carla, Cisneros, Abby Kamen, Letitia Palmer, and others for endorsing the statewide petition that we have for September 16, naming September 16 in Texas after Mahsa Amini. I want to thank Diana at the Wyndham Hotel for putting up with me and for her attentiveness and here around the clock to make sure this event happens. Integrated Technology Solutions for their AV services, Mr. Amir Javan for all his work and support, Daya, the bridge over troubled water, Houston Millennials for supporting us, Women at Microsoft, Engage, Amana, and all the amazing speakers for taking a part in this very special event. I'd like to thank our volunteers, Sherman, Artie, Mr. Amir Javan, Zach Goodell, Alex, Yashar, Barton, Nilufar, and other volunteers that made this special event happen. I do have, special thanks to our commissioner for coming and also recognizing this event. This was a surprise. Yes, absolutely. I'd like to end this with your choice. Do you want to watch a TED Talk or you want to hear our Californian friend sing? Sing.
Yes, sir. Would you like to say a few more? Absolutely, yeah. Okay, California's canceled. Good.
We need to give a hand up to Tony. I'm glad you guys don't have my bio up there because I am at the same time. But this is such a remarkable event. We talked about a lot of stuff today, but two things I do want to touch on is freedom. Who would think that a concept that existed 200 years ago in this country, the United States of America, when people fled political, religious persecution, and turned something so great, but it's thought. Taxation without representation, it's a fight for the century. That's why we're here today, where we are. That we all can stand tall and proud of this great nation, one nation under God, with justice and liberty for all. That's so true. But I know we mentioned a couple of tragic stories, one particular with Mahsa Amini. But today is not about that tragedy, it's the trial. The trial being the fact that one 22-year-old young lady stand up to tyranny and refuse to accept what it was in the interest of freedom and liberty. That what she celebrate as a tribute to what she is right now. Now millions around the globe on the planet is honoring her, which is tomorrow on the 16th of September. So Mahsa, as long as you know you and people like you to stand up for what's right, our nation will continue to be great. Rest assured that I want to thank you for this opportunity. The Houston Police Department will always stand alongside to ensure liberty is protected, to ensure freedom is safeguarded, to ensure safety is guaranteed for every citizen within the city and our community. Thank you.
I told so many people to write speeches. I was like, if I tell one more person, they're going to be like, oh, yeah, you're blocking me. But thank you so much. TED Talk or California? TED Talk? Yes. I will probably miss my flight, but at the risk of missing my flight to California, let's watch this.
I am Mahsa. I am 22 years old. I'm from Kurdistan. I came on vacation to Tehran for 2 days with my brother. I got arrested for not wearing my veil properly. Then I was beaten repeatedly and eventually went into a coma and died. I'm Nika. I'm 16 years old. I dressed all in black, took my water bottle and a small towel to protect myself from tear gas. I went on the street to protest. I got kidnapped, tortured. I'm Nika's shattered skull. I'm her battered body, delivered to her family 10 days after she got kidnapped. Eventually, she was buried without warning in some faraway cemetery. I am Puya. I went to protest with my mother. She said, don't let go of my hand. But I did, and I got shot. I died in front of her eyes. I'm Kian. I'm only 10 years old. I wanted to become a scientist, but my body was riddled with bullets. I am the boat on wheels he made with his little hands, carrying 70 more children over the rainbow, killed in a similar way. I am Kian's father, who was shot and paralyzed for life. I am Ahmad Mehdi, the karate boy. I am the son of a peddler, brought up in poverty. I was hanged at dawn during the morning prayers. I am one of the last sentences of Muhammad to his father. Don't turn, Mom, they want to execute me. I am Tamaj, a rapper, tortured and kept in solitary confinement for months and months. I am Elahe, I am Nilufar. We are journalists who reported on the death of Mahsa. We have been in prison since. I am 537 victims of this revolution in Iran. The ones who got executed, the ones who got tortured, the tens of thousands of wounded and arrested and imprisoned innocent men and women. I am the raised fist of young girls with their hair flowing in the wind. I am their glorious dance. I am their blood, their sighs, their tears, their dreams, their eyes, their lost eyes by rubber bullets. I am the reason they stood up. I am freedom. And I'm also a worshiper. I'm an artist. I'm living a life of exile for the past 15 years. I was forced to leave my motherland, but I kept fighting as a woman for life, to be free. My choices and existence as an exiled female artist was my battle. Exist to resist. But the courageous, fearless Generation Z who started this revolution, they didn't leave. They stayed, and they went on the street and died for woman, life, and freedom. Death breaks the cage, but doesn't kill the bird, as Rumi says. We carry these birds in us, let them fly on their way to victory. Wars, discrimination, dictatorships, racism, it is all the same. Iran is the rest of the world is Iran. Woman, life, freedom, Black Lives Matter, glory to Ukraine. Ignorance and fear is the cause of it all. We can all decide today to be the bridge, to unite rather than separate. Any child living in a dictatorship, any refugee child being denied help, any child being killed in war, if we ignore one, we ignore our own children, and we deny humanity. The poet Saadi once said, human beings are members of the whole, in creation of one essence and soul. If one member is afflicted with pain, other members uneasy will remain. If you have no sympathy for human pain, the name of human you cannot retain. Thank you.
It's the last time you're going to see me. Thank you all for coming out. One more time for everyone who came up. One more time for joining me. What about sunrise? What about rain? What about all the things that you said we were to gain? What about killing fear? Is there a time? What about all the
world. Look what we've done. What about all the peace that you pledged your only son? What about flowering fields? Is there a time? What about all the dreams that you said was yours and mine? Did you ever stop to notice all the children dead from war? Did you ever stop to notice this crying earth is weeping shore?
Thank you guys so much. I'm Paige.
I wanted to be done, but we have special guests from Austin that just like to say a couple of minutes of words, if you don't mind. They drove all the way from Austin to join this event with us, so please welcome Yelufat.
I'm sure it's with
Okay.
Hello everybody, thank you for giving me opportunity to talk and speak to all. I'm honored to be here. I am Nilofar Mateen, I am from Afghanistan, and I stand with the women life freedom because our country, we have the same problem, we have same pain. Our women in Afghanistan for past 2 years, they have no rights. They cannot even go outside of the house without a male guardian. They cannot go traveling. They cannot go to library. They cannot go to park. They cannot even go to the public shower. In Afghanistan, as I don't know if you guys know, it's very hard to fetch water and bring it home. But there is a public bath. The woman even cannot go there to take a shower.
The women in Afghanistan are present inside of their house. And we share the same pain, the regime of misogyny. So we ask the world to please stand up with us and be the voice of the voiceless, of women of Afghanistan. We stand together for women, life, freedom.
We're absolutely, when we say Persians, it doesn't matter if we're Iranians or Afghanis, but we are Persians. We share blood, we love Afghans, and we want their freedom as much as our own freedom. And once Iran has its freedom, we will, the next project, well, is Afghanistan. We all need to work together. It just shows that injustice does not understand borders. With that said, I thank every single one of you, 176 of you. That's true. To the event. I blame it on Houston weather. And thank you, HPD. Thank you, Wenham Hotel. Thank you all for joining and for Women, Life, Freedom. Have a good day.